Challenger tier. Tell me about, I think it was the DSC game, yeah? DSC Alacrity?
Yes, sir. This to me was a big show up win for Drunken Shimada Clan.
Oh, yeah.
They've been in for a few seasons now, and they've always been a team that, you see talent there, but, they'd fall apart down the stretch and not be able to get that win. And, they'd be clinging on to the bottom of the playoff race. So when you see a team that's been here for about 3, 4, I think maybe even 5, they might have been in since season 1, or I think they came around season 2.
I think it was season 2.
To see that growth and that performance, for them to get a big win like this, and they're sitting here with a pretty decent record in the Challenger tier. A great performance. I watched this game back today, and I was just overall very impressed with how DSC ended up playing and beating a tough team in Alacrity.
Well, yeah, and actually, interesting thing about that, like you were saying, they have been in there for a while. Drunken Shimada Clan, 0-8 in Season 4. They had a really difficult time in this tier and couldn't really get anything going. A lot of 2-1 losses. And now to see them start this season 3-1, it's encouraging. Doing a really good job there in the Challenger tier. And, I mean, I've been impressed.
Yes. Yeah, just a fantastic turnaround. It's one of those things where, sure, you might struggle a bit here and there. You might go through a season where, you guys are just getting your team is getting familiar with each other. Maybe a little execution's not there. And maybe you don't have the overall talent. But to me, I think in a season setting like this, where week in and week out you have a game, the more familiarity, the more enjoyable your playing experience with your team is, the more in the long run it can help you out. And to me, you're seeing it with a team like DSC, who's now definitely in a fight for a playoff berth. And I am on a Challenger tier team. So this was also a little bit of scouting for me, which was a little good to see.
Yeah, Drunken Shimada Clan, definitely a force to be reckoned with. But you look at that Challenger tier table, and it starts to get a little tougher to see where the gap's going to come out. Inner Circle there, 4-0 at the top, and that's 4 3-0 wins with 12 map wins. They are 100% perfect on the season. So Drunken Shimada Clan, with their strength, still a bit of a mountain to climb, with Chaotic also there, 3-1, 8 points. Void, kind of a mainstay in the community, there 2-2. So, I mean, Challenger all the way down, I think it's going to be a contest straight through the season to see who's going to grab one of those top playoff spots when we do release those rankings. The other side, though, Talon Division, you've got PCOW and D9 both 4-0, starting out very strongly. PCOW sitting there also with 4 consecutive 3-0 wins, and very strong team. I think they actually play D9 this week in Week 5, so definitely one that will definitely have broadcasted, and make sure you do not miss that. That's 2 undefeated teams, and somebody walks away with a loss, especially with the control point map, so no chance for a tie there. Obviously, unless somebody ties that. It's not important, but anyway, for a good matchup between the two of them. But again, the Talon Division in Challenger is so tight, where you've got Rick Maru's Ramen, I think it's Revenge.
Yes.
Yeah. And TGBR, Dungle Break, and Reinhardt. One of the best names in the community, obviously. I think it's pretty clever. But both sitting there in good position. Sombra's tech support, kind of a surprise, with their 6-2 finish last season coming out 1-2-1. So for a little bit of maybe momentum going into Week 5. What do you think?
I know we need it. Hopefully, we get our game scheduled this week and, put all of our pieces together. As Jay says, we suck. Thanks, Sultan. Challenger tier is a very tough tier. You're looking at, all right, Plat and Diamond on the SR scale may not be overly impressive to everyone that watches Overwatch out there, but we're all, outside of some new faces as PCAL D9 came in. A lot of these teams in this tier have been together for multiple seasons now. So we're all familiar with each other. We've all, had battles last season, the year before, and no game in this tier is easy. I know we went up against Paranoia Academy last week, and if all right, you look at their standings. All right, they go into that game 0-3. They came out against us, played very aggressive. Were not afraid and didn't play like an 0-3 team. They come out, they win the first map. We go out and tie on, or we go out, lose the first map. We win map 2, and then we have the tie at the end on Hanamura there. But all 3 of those games could have gone either way. We could have won the first one, we could have lost the second one, we could have won the third one, etc., stuff like that. So these challenger tier games, especially with teams that have been around a while, know each other very well, it's going to be down to week 8 where we're looking at who needs to win, how many map points do they need to get into the playoffs. Very exciting to watch all the tiers, but I know this tier especially down the stretch of the regular season for the playoff hunt is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked about that a lot, where the challenger and contender tier is just so tight because, really you've got the bulk of the player pool in that kind of range, right? In the kind of gold to plat range. And so everybody, obviously that says something. You've got to be in the top 10%, I believe, to get into diamond. So, you start getting into rival and higher, the teams are less frequent, and obviously the margin of error is a little bit smaller. But here especially, I think you get really competitive games just because of the volume of players that we have. Obviously, you see we got really full divisions in both challenger and contender. So, it's just good to see. Speaking of contender,
good to see, and you're just going to see it all down the stretch, both divisions and some interdivisional matchups in general. So these standings you're going to see a lot of fluctuation in both of these divisions, I think, when you're looking at them now compared to where we're looking at them going into week 8 and into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.